Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Medase Nathaya Raghunathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we welcome you all for this Saturday function, Saturday ceremony, Saturday lecture from the ISKCON Bhakti Kutir of Manipal. Thank you very much for making it convenient to come and be with us. So today's topic is Glorious Rama, the glorious Lord Sri Rama. So Rama is one of the avatars of Sri Krishna. The book Ramayana, Srimad Ramayana, actually details practically everything about the life of Sri Ramachandra. Now, why did our ancestors, why did the Shastrakara, why did Sri Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana, why did he give the name Ramayana? So Rama means, we all know, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Rama, Ramachandra. Ayana. Ayana means journey. Ayana also means the shelter. So the journey of Sri Ramachandra is Ramayana, or the book which we study to get into the complete shelter of Sri Ramachandra, that is also Ramayana. Also, Rama is present in every single page of Ramayana. Sri Ramachandra is present in every single page of Sri Ramayana. If you take Mahabharata, which is talking about actually the glory of Sri Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, you won't find him in every page. You won't find him in every page. You'll find him in parts. But unlike Mahabharata, Lord Ramachandra appears in practically every single page of Ramayana. So therefore, the word Ramayana is very apt that we are trying to understand about the original personality of God, Sri Rama, whose shelter we want to take. Now it all begins with the whole story begins with Valmiki, who is the compiler of Sri Ramayana. One day, Narad Muni actually visited his ashrama, Valmiki ashrama. And Valmiki offered him respectful obeisances. And then he asked him, my dear Narada Muni, O respectable, venerable Narada Muni, can you tell me who is that one personality who is presently available on earth, who is having all the good qualities? That means he is most kind, he is most compassionate, he is most learned, and at the same time he is very, very determined or strong, and who does not have even a single quality that is negative in nature. There are no bad qualities. There are no doshas at all in him. Can you tell me of a person like that? To that question, Narada says, my dear Valmiki, yes, such a personality is available today, and he is Sri Ramachandra. And he gives him briefly the story of Rama. And then he says that if you are able to glorify him, then you will be able to actually get the highest goal of life achieved. And what is that? That is nothing but going back home, back to Godhead. Krishna Bhakti or Rama Bhakti, Krishna Prema or Rama Prema, it's all one and the same. So in this way, Valmiki was given initiation into the story of Sri Ramachandra. So by that time, evening appears, and because of that, Valmiki goes to the Tamasa river to take his bath, to complete his ablutions, and then start his prayers of the evening. While he is at it, he sees two birds, a couple, a male and a female bird, very close to each other, happily enjoying the company of each other on the branch of a tree next to the river, on the river bank. Then he also sees a hunter who is aiming at one of the birds. And before he can stop him, the hunter releases his arrow and it goes and hits the male bird, and the male bird falls down dead. And the female bird is extremely distressed. Seeing this very violent scene, Valmiki Muni is moved like anything. And he becomes very angry. He becomes angry on the hunter. And then he utters a verse. So he's in great anger. He's lamenting in shoka. And then from the shoka comes a very wonderful shloka or words. It's very beautifully arranged, very melodious, following every rule of grammar, and at the same time with great meaning. So in this way, Valmiki begins to understand that there must be some purpose behind this whole thing, whole scene. How is it from my shoka, a very, very wonderful, a very beautiful and melodious shloka has come? At that moment, Chaturmukha Brahma arrives, and then he tells him, my dear Valmiki, this shloka which you have uttered is actually not from you, but actually I have made it and you have uttered it because I have made you utter it. So in this way, Brahma tells him, you are now empowered. My dear Valmiki, you are now empowered. You are now empowered to write the most wonderful, most beautiful story of Ramachandra. So now, make it your life mission and start describing the most beautiful verse, in most wonderful and beautiful verses, the entire story of Sri Rama. So in this way, Ramayana came to be written. So the story starts with the scene in Ayodhya. Ayodhya is a very, very wonderful place, a very wonderful mega city of ancient times. Ayodhya was originally founded by Vivaswan, the original Manu, the son of Surya Deva, the Surya Deva himself. So he was the Manu also. So that is how the parampara in which Vivaswan appeared came to be known as Surya Vamsha. Surya, Vivaswan, had a very wonderful and powerful son called Ikshvaku. And he further developed Ayodhya. During the times of Vivaswan and Ikshvaku, and even Dasharatha, who appears in the same parampara, Ayodhya was 100 miles long and 100 miles wide. Each and every street of Ayodhya was like a super highway, what are called as freeways in America. Such freeways were available millions of years ago in Treta Yuga itself. So even today, you won't find a city which is 100 miles long and 100 miles wide. Yeah, after all, you go 50, 60 kilometers and maximum 100 kilometers, and you're out of the city. But here is the city which is not of today, which is millions of years old, and it was 100 miles in length and 100 miles in breadth. The opulence of that place was such that every day the city roads would be washed with scented, perfumed water. Now, when does our city get water? Only when the Lord gives rains, not otherwise. But it was washed on a daily basis. Perfumed water was profusely used in cleaning. And how were the buildings on either side? Some of them were 7, 8, 10 stories. The palace, the Ramayana clearly described that the palace of Dasharatha Maharaja was 10 stories high. So from the 10th story, he is seeing peace is reigning in his kingdom called Kosala Rajya. Peace is completely reigning there. There is no hunger. There is nobody who is ill or diseased. It is laid out with miles and miles of wonderful gardens. Beautiful flowers are blossoming everywhere. The water of Sarayu is crystal clear with absolutely no pollution, no pollutant in it. The trees are filled with wonderful fruits. The people are happy. There are no disputes amongst the citizens during the reign of Dasharatha. Everything was in abundance. and everybody was living very happily. But Dasharatha had one concern. He was unhappy. He is anxious. Why? Because he did not have a son who could be the Uttara Adhikari, the regent prince who would become the king after his time is over. So therefore, Dasharatha was thinking of bringing in all the ministers, bringing in all the leaders, and bringing in all the important people of the town, and bringing in all the people of the town and proposing something. So he called an assembly, and everybody who mattered, they attended, and he was, with folded hands, he told the assembly, my dear people, you know, I am 60,000 years old. I have ruled this kingdom for 35,000 years now. But I'm thinking of the future. I'm thinking that there must be a son born to me who can relieve me of this very heavy burden of taking care of everybody, keeping everybody happy, keeping everybody peaceful, providing everything for everybody. So therefore, I propose to conduct a yajna. Then all the people, they all raise their hands and say, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That means good, wonderful, excellent, excellent proposition. Then Vasishtha, the guru of Dasharatha Maharaja, he rose and he spoke. What you have spoken is perfectly in order, in accordance to the Shastras. So therefore, you must first worship Vishnu. And why should you worship Vishnu? When there is any problem in our life, the problem does not happen by sheer accident. The problem happens, the problem arises in our life because we have become responsible for it by some previous act of ours. So if we lack something, it's because of our karma, bad karma, papa karma. So such a wonderful king, even he had some stock of bad karma. And how to remove that? We have to remove that by performance of yajna. And what was the yajna that was proposed? Ashwamedha yajna. So Ashwamedha yajna is no ordinary yajna. It has the capacity to remove practically every single papa from our personality. Whatever mistakes we may have committed, all those things can be washed away if you are able to perform Ashwamedha yajna. And who is the principal God who is thought to be propitiated in this yajna? Sri Vishnu, Krishna, Narayana. So the Ashwamedha yajna was completed under the stewardship of Rishya, a great and powerful rishi. And after Rishya completed the Ashwamedha yaga, then all the rishis and munis who had dhyana, they proposed that the king now conduct Putra Kameshti Yajna from Atharva Veda. So this Putra Kameshti Yajna was conducted again under the leadership of the various wonderful rishis and munis who had gathered, led by Rishya. Vasishtha was there, Narada Muni was there, Bharadwaja was there, everybody, who was there, Vishwamitra was there, everybody was there. So in this way, the Putra Kameshti Yajna was successfully completed. How do we say it was completed successfully? We say it was completed successfully because right at the end of the yajna, a very wonderful, powerful personality arose from the Agni, the fire. He was beautifully dressed with wonderful garments. He was shining like thousands of suns. And in his hand, he held a wonderful, wonderful vessel made of gold encrusted with jewels. He was the messenger of Lord Vishnu. If Vishnu's messenger, Vishnu Duta, is having so much of opulence and so much of wonderful Kamti, just like the sun, thousands of suns, then imagine how his boss Vishnu will be. And imagine how Krishna will be, who is the source of many, many Vishnus, many, many Narayanas. Unimaginable. So in this way, he comes and then he hands over the payasa or porridge, sweet porridge, or what we call in North India as sweet rice. So this prasad was given to Dasharatha Muni, Dasharatha Maharaja, and he was asked to distribute it to his wives. Now he had more than 700 wives. So to whom will he give? Well, he gives it to his 3 principal queens. Who are they? They are Kausalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi. So Kausalya was given half the porridge, and Sumitra was given the other half, 25%. And then he takes it to Kaikeyi. Somehow or other, he did not want to give the remainder half. That means, 1/4 portion fully to Kaikeyi. So he gave half of that, 12.5% to Kaikeyi. And then again, he gave back the remaining 12.5%, the last portion of the porridge, to Sumitra. So in this way, the Mahaprasad of Vishnu has been distributed. And in course of time, 4 wonderful children were born, just the way the porridge was given. The first to be born was Sri Rama from Kausalya. Now, he was given the name Rama. Why was he given the name Rama? Why not anything else? What does the name Rama mean? We need to understand that, because it is the key to the success of our entire life. Rama is a Sanskrit word, Sanskrit name. It's made of 2 syllables, Ra and Ma. Ra, Akshara, is from the root Ram. Ram does not mean what is available in the streets today. Ram means Agni Bija, the original fire element. Now, what is the nature of fire? What does it do? Does it cool somebody when it comes in contact with somebody? No, it burns them. So in the same way, the holy name of Rama has got the Agni Bija, which has got the wonderful capacity to burn up, completely remove all our papa, all our sins, whatever sinful activities we have performed so far, either in this life or in a previous life or in any of the previous life we have had on this sojourn in these earthly planets, all those things will be removed. Now we have become pure, but then it does not say, Ram does not mean that new sins cannot enter our system. So therefore, Ma has been given. Ma in Sanskrit means stop, halt. Who is to be halted? Who is to be stopped? No new sin can enter me if I am chanting Rama, 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 Rama every time. So therefore, this wonderful name of the Lord, Rama, is there in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the powerful name of Rama in this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra not only burns up all our previous sinful reaction, but it also helps us in stopping any sinful reactions attacking us, new sinful reactions coming towards us. This is not the only meaning of the word Rama. Rama also means completely self-satisfied. Atma Rama Chamuneyo, a verse from Bhagavatam. So Atma Rama means one who is completely self-satisfied. Rama does not require anything because he is the self-same Lord. He is always completely powerful. That is another meaning of the word Rama. Rama means powerful. Rama also means most beautiful. So you see, Ramayati iti, the one who can give so much of satisfaction to those who come in contact with him. So therefore, the glorious Lord has got a wonderful name in Rama. And he became Ramachandra in course of time. Why? How? Because his face was very wonderful, very beautiful, just like the full moon. At least the full moon has got some spots in it. But Ramachandra did not have a single black spot in his personality, in his face. This is the beauty. And therefore, Ramachandra, he became Ramachandra in course of time. Also, what is the quality of moon? The quality of moon is people who are very, very in great agony when they are taken in the presence of moonlight, and especially when it is full moon night. Then if they are having the rays of moon, then they become very cool. So the cooling rays of moon, similarly, Rama had the same cooling effect. Anybody who was agitated, they came into his presence, they become cool, thunder cool. So therefore, he became Ramachandra in course of time. So this wonderful Lord is so wonderful that anybody who reads its story, Sarva Papa Prashamanam, Dushtagraha Nivaranam, Duswapna Nashanam, Dhanyam, Bhukti Mukti Phalapradam. So this is Ramayana, that Sarva Papa Prashamanam. Anybody who hears, who makes an effort to hear, who reads Ramayana, Sarva Papa Prashamanam, all their sins, the sinful reactions are completely washed away. Why? How? Because Rama's name is there in every page of Ramayana. Dushtagraha Nivaranam. So any problem we are having, simply by reading Ramayana and surrendering unto Lord Rama, we can remove all our problems. Duswapna Nashanam, Dhanyam. So all the problems that we are seeing in our dreams, and this whole life is like a dream. You know, some people are dreaming only when they are sleeping. And some people are dreaming when they are walking and talking. So all the dreams, all the bad dreams that we have, everything will be wiped out, removed. And Dhanyan will become very, very satisfied and thankful. And not only that, we can get bhukti and mukti. Bhukti means that which is enjoyable in the material world, and mukti means that which is enjoyable beyond the material world. All these things we get simply by trying to read Ramayana. Therefore, before death, while dying, and after death, in all the three phases of our life, we'll find peace, we'll find happiness. So in this way, Ramayana is wonderful. So such a wonderful Lord has now appeared, and his history is called Ramayana. And the next one to be born was Lakshmana. His another name is Saumitri, because he was born of Sumitra. So wherever Rama is there, Lakshmana is always there as a shadow unto him. He's always serving him. And the next to be born was Bharata, because she got third, half of half. And then again, Sumitra gave birth to another child. He is Shatrughna. So Shatrughna is like a shadow to Bharata, and Lakshmana is like a shadow to Lord Ramachandra. So Shatrughna will always serve, and they are to serve Bharata, and they are inseparable, Bharata Shatrughna. And Rama Lakshmana are inseparable. Rama is the original Vasudeva. Lakshmana is the Shesha, Ananta. Balarama is Shesha, Balarama is Ananta. Krishna is Rama. And the chakra, the Vishnu chakra, the Sudarshana chakra is Bharata. And the Panchajanya Kanj is none other than Shatrughna. So all four of them beautifully grew up very nicely, and they had the best of education, and they were exhibiting the best of character. Rama was so wonderful that she would offer respects to everybody, not only just to his father, not only just to his gurus, but to everybody. If we become, familiarity breeds contempt, we say. The first day when we see a devotee, we say Hare Krishna, we offer all obeisances, everything. And the next day, we say Hare Krishna. And then the third day, we don't even say this. We just say Dandavat Pranams in our mouth. Dandavat Pranam means I am falling like a snake and offering you obeisances. But now we say Dandavats, not even Pranam. Then, after some time, Hari Bol, that's all, over. But it was not the case with Lord Ramachandra. Lord Rama would, whenever he had to come to the presence of either his parents or the elders, he would always come like this. And when he reached them, he would always bow to them completely. And before taking leave of them, again he would bow to them. Again he would offer his respect. He would talk very sweetly. Now, why Ramayana is important? Ramayana is important, of course. It has the capacity to remove all our sinful reactions from our life. But how? How it is able to remove sinful reactions from our life? Because it is having each and every instruction of the Vedas, each and every instructions of the Upanishads hidden within it. And what is happening? We are able to actually understand those instructions. How we are able to understand those instructions? Just by seeing how Rama is acting, how Rama is living, how Rama is taking decisions in his life, how Rama is never swerving from the path of truth, eternal truth. So, Veda is like theory, and Bhagavad Gita is like instructions. Do this, do this, do this. And Ramayana is like, see, this is how it is done. I am doing it, you also do it like that. So in this way, the entire purpose of the Vedas is available within Ramayana. By actually taking Ramayana seriously, what do we mean by saying taking Ramayana seriously? We mean that by actually observing, understanding the character of Ramachandra, how he dealt each and every situation in his life, we can modify our life. When we modify our life to live a life like how Ramachandra did, then we will be successful. So therefore, he would always be very respectful. So this is what we have to learn. He would never hurt anybody. This is what we should learn. He would speak the truth, but at the same time not hurt another person. This is what we have to learn. Now, if you do all these things, do you think we will have enemies? No, not at all. In Kannada, they say, Matu Ballavanige Jagalabilla, which means that one who knows how to talk, there are no challenges in his life. Why? He can solve all the challenges. He can solve all the problems that arise in his life for one who knows how to speak. So, Lord Ramachandra is an epitome of good speech, of good manners, of good conduct. So we can become that. So in this way, Ramachandra grew up. He learned everything so wonderfully, but he was never proud of his family, or proud of his achievements, or proud of his beauty, or proud of his wealth. Nothing. He'd be always very, very humble. So humility also was part of Lord Ramachandra's character. So in this way, he grew up, and inseparably Rama and Lakshmana, inseparably Bharata and Shatrughna, and Bharata and Shatrughna, they they went to continue their education in Bharata's maternal grandfather's house, a distant, a kingdom which was a little away from Ayodhya. So Rama and Lakshmana were there in Ayodhya. During that time, Vishwamitra Muni came. When Vishwamitra Muni came, Dasharatha Maharaja was simultaneously happy and at the same time anxious. He was happy because Vishwamitra was a very, very wonderful sadhu. He was anxious because this wonderful sadhu has a sharp fuse. He can become very easily, he can be very easily angered. He can be very easily, he can be very easily pleased, and he can very easily be agitated. And both these things were there in the character of Vishwamitra. So before Vishwamitra arrived, Dasharatha was thinking, now Rama is 16 years old, I should try and get a very good, nice girl as a wife for him. I should marry him. So this was his idea. And at that time, Vishwamitra arrived. When Vishwamitra arrived, immediately, Dasharatha Maharaja did not lose any time. He personally went and he offered all respect to him. And very, very ceremonially and respectfully, he brought him, escorted him to his assembly, and he made him sit in a very wonderful, beautiful asana and washed his feet and prayed to him. My dear Lord Vishwamitra, it is such a wonderful, glorious event that you have appeared in our kingdom. How can I serve you? There is nothing in the 3 words that I will not do to satisfy you. So kindly give me your instructions. In what way would you like me to serve you? So Vishwamitra was very happy. He said, yes, these words simply reflect of your Surya Vamsha, Raghu Vamsha, or Ikshwaku Kula. This is how all your ancestors have served me. Thank you very much. Now, listen to me. I have taken a vow to do a yajna for the benefit of the entire humanity, welfare of the world. But there are some Rakshasas who are actually coming and disturbing. So I want Rama to accompany me so that he can protect the yajna and help me complete my yajna for the benefit of the world. When he heard, Dasharatha Maharaja, when he heard this, he became very anxious. He said, you are talking of demons, Rakshasas, my dear sir. Rama is still a small child. He is hardly 16. See how man changes. What was he thinking of? Just before Vishwamitra arrived, he said, Rama has now become a man, so I should find him a woman. Now what is he saying? He is saying that Rama is hardly 16 years old. How can he come? He is not exposed to warfare. He is just now learning. He has not completed his education. One after the other. He is simply, trying to beat around the bush. But he says, I will come, sir. With my full army, I will come. And I battle out the demons. I will help the Devatas in the battle against the demons. And that is how I got the name Dasharatha. I was able to simultaneously be present in all the 10 directions and fight in all the 10 directions. This is me, Dasharatha, 60,000 years, very powerful monarch of this wonderful kingdom. I am your servant. Leave Rama alone. He is just a mere boy. So what did Vishwamitra say? He said, Vishwamitra, my dear Dasharatha, you don't seem to understand what I told you. These demons are not ordinary demons. Immediately, Dasharatha said, let them, whoever they be, I will come, I will fight out, I will control them, I will see that by the arrangement of the Lord, your yajna is successful. Again, Vishwamitra laughs and says, you don't seem to understand at all. We are talking of Maricha and Subahu, who have been placed there by none other than Ravana. The moment he heard Dasharatha Maharaja heard the name Ravana, he fell down unconscious. Why? Ravana was such a terror. Then he got up and he started blabbering. Vishwamitra, what are you saying? I am somehow trying to hide from Ravana. I am not going anywhere near him. Just minding my own business. Who can? Even I cannot actually fight with Ravana. So how can Rama fight? Then at this point, Vishwamitra became very angry. Then Vasishtha, who knew the depth of Vishwamitra's anger, he requested Vishwamitra for a little time to convince Dasharatha Maharaja. And he told Dasharatha, you just don't know who Vishwamitra is. And neither do you know who Rama is. Rama is just not your son alone, my dear sir. He's a great personality. In fact, he is the supreme personality of God. He knows how to take care of everything. He has come here, he has descended, he has taken the form of your son just to please you, to please the entire humanity, and to take care of a little business here. So therefore, do not stop him. If you stop him, then you will be at the receiving end of Vishwamitra's anger. It's not good. It's neither good for you, nor good for your people, not good for any of us. It's not even good for Ramachandra, because Ramachandra has some private business with Vishwamitra. Let them go. So this seemed to convince. He somewhat agreed. But then as he was agreeing, he just forgot who Ramachandra is. That is a divine personality. So he brought all the Brahmanas. He gave them very big charity. He made them bless that Rama will be able to come out of this great trial. He called this the trial. It's not trial for Lord Rama. It's trial in the mind of Dasharatha. So out of this trial, he should come out victorious, etc., etc. All the blessings, everything. And then Rama is ready to go. At that time, Lakshmana says, I cannot leave Rama alone. I have to follow Rama. So, Father, please give me your permission. So reluctantly, Lakshmana is also given permission, and Lakshmana takes permission from Vishwamitra to follow Lord Rama. And then they go. That very moment they leave, after they collect all their wonderful weapons. And then at the end of their walking, they reach the end of the outskirts of Ayodhya. Remember, 100 miles long. And then they decide to pitch tents, call it a day on the banks of river Sarayu. So at that time, Vishwamitra says, my dear Rama, I want to initiate you into a few mantras. Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he walks behind Vishwamitra as if he is a lowly person. He does not go in front of Vishwamitra. He follows Vishwamitra. Now he says, I will give you some initiation. Lord Rama does not say, I know all the mantras. What do you want to give? I know what you want to give. You want to give me Bala. You want to give me Ati Bala. But Rama never said that. Why did he not say that? Good. Maryada Vetikrama. You know, one should not violate etiquette, how to behave with an elder person or how to behave with any other person. So every person has to be treated very respectfully. So Vishwamitra is now playing the role of a guru. And therefore, Lord Rama is perfectly playing the role of a disciple, shishya, student. So he says, I am greatly indebted to you, sir. Please kindly initiate me. Then he is ordered, go and do achamana, the purificatory process. So he does the purificatory process and then comes and sits. And then Vishwamitra gives him Bhala and Ati Bhala. If somebody knows Bhala and Ati Bhala, they will never feel hungry. They will never ever feel hungry at all. No disease, no corona. You want to get out of corona? Try to know Bala, Ati Bhala. So, no diseases, no hunger, no anxieties, no hankering, no lamentation, nothing. You become rock solid. So, very happily, Lord Rama receives, memorizes, and recites it and shows it to Vishwamitra Muni, his guru, who is playing the role of his guru. And then they go to bed. They retire. They call it a day. How does Lord Rama sleep? Does he have a wonderful, comfortable, cushy bed No, he sleeps on grass on the river bank. Who is he? The prince of the most wonderful uh, kingdom of Ayodhya, who is used to all kinds of comforts. But today you see he is sleeping right on the floor, right on the ground, just on some grass. So early in the morning, Vishwamitra arises and then he wakes up Rama by saying, Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narasha Dula Kartavyam Devamanikam. My dear Rama, my dear Kausalya's lovable son, please awake. Sun has arisen. Take a bath, purify yourself, and do all your duties to God. So in this way, he was woken up, and they were able to actually complete their morning ablutions in a very proper way, in a respectable way, and then they start walking again. When they start walking again, they come to Ganges, and on the other side of Ganges is a very, very dark, completely wretched forest. It's like just like, almost as if the end of the world is near. That is the kind of feeling one gets by seeing that forest. So Rama inquired, what happened? Why is it like that? Why is it so desolate? Why I'm not able to see any tree properly grown, any plant flowering, any fruit, any bird, any animal? What is that very, very dangerous sound that is coming from that? So he says, Vishwamitra says, my dear Lord Rama, that is the place where Tataki is there. Who is Tataki? Rama asks. And he says, she is actually a Gandharva woman. And because she was very, very powerful, she has as she was born, she had the strength of 10,000 elements because of Brahma's blessings. She has 10,000 elephants strength. And she was, even while she was a small girl, she was giving so much trouble to all the passers-by of the forest. And one day, she actually gave so much trouble to Agastya Rishi, a very powerful Rishi who was shot. And he cursed her. You are behaving like a demoness. Now you became a real demoness. Become a Rakshasi, he said. So from that day onwards, she's become even more powerful and giving even more trouble to everybody. So in this way, you have to now kill that. And her son is Maricha. After you kill her, you can kill her son Maricha, he says. So Lord Rama, epitome of all virtues, epitome of all dharma, is hesitant to raise his weapon on a woman, even though she is a demoness, Rakshasi. So Vishwamitra warns him, don't think that she's a woman. Never consider anybody by their body alone. See what they are doing, how they are behaving. Then you decide whether she is good, bad, very bad, or whatever. So she comes out and then, she tries to fight with Ramachandra with all kinds of sorcery, magic. And Rama is able to control all those things, but he's still not killing. And at that time, Lakshmana as well as Vishwamitra tell him, my dear brother, my dear student, see, this woman is a demoness. Now is the time of sunset. Once the sun sets, they will acquire so much power that nobody can actually disturb them. Nobody can control them. So now is the time. So he takes an arrow and he aims it at her chest, and then he just releases that, and she falls down dead. The moment she falls down dead, her curse is gone. That's one thing. The other thing is that the entire forest opens up. It becomes as if it is the midst of spring, so nicely that the whole forest is teeming with wonderful birds and bees, and people are walking, and moment, see the influence of bad people. So this is what we need to learn, that if we behave in a very bad way, then the atmosphere around us will become so bad that nobody will venture near us. But if we behave in a good way, then just like Krishna is attracting everybody, Lord Ramachandra continues to attract since millions and millions of years. We will also attract others to us. So this is another lesson that we can learn. So after having done this, then they go to Siddhashrama. Siddhashrama is the place where Vishwamitra and his disciples are going to enact a wonderful, wonderful yajna for the benefit of the whole world. Now, what is Siddhashrama? Siddhashrama is nothing but the place where Lord Vamana Deva, after controlling, after defeating, after sending Bali Maharaj to the netherworlds, he came here to Siddhashrama and he did austerities and penances for tens of thousands of yugas. Thousands of yugas. So therefore, Siddha means perfection. So perfection is there because the Supreme Personality of God in his form, in his dwarf form, as Avamana Avatara, did penance there. A very, very highly purified place. So in that place, chosen place, Vishwamitra starts a six-day yagna. So for 5 days, without food, without hunger, without sleep, without going to the toilet, without going anywhere else, Rama and his wonderful brother Lakshmana are pacing around the yagna sthala, the place of yagna, sacrifice, and they are watchful, completely watchful. On the 6th day, when Soma Rasa, that wonderful elixir, had to be extracted from the yagna, that means that is the culmination of the sacrifice. At that time, the whole cloud becomes dark. Then they know, Rama knows, Lakshmana knows, and the Rakshasas led by Maricha, who is the son of Tataki, the ogre, the demoness who was killed by Rama earlier, and his friend Subahu, both of them are leading tens of thousands of demons, and they are all coming to disturb. How they are going to disturb? Simply make the place impure. How to make the place impure? Pour wine in that place. Pour blood. Put flesh. So now you can imagine, if we drink alcohol and other forbidden stuff, we won't be able to chant the holy names of the Lord properly. Why? Because we have become impure. If we eat meat, we cannot really chant the holy names of the Lord nicely and properly because we are becoming impure. So therefore, in the same way, that is a very, very wonderful way of killing our devotional life. How? To indulge in meat eating, to indulge in illicit sex, to indulge in speculation, and to intoxicate ourselves. So these are the 4 things, if we do, that we will go away from spiritual life. So that is what they are doing there. The demons are coming and trying to do that there. But Rama and Lakshmana, they simply made a wonderful circle of protection like an umbrella using their bows and arrows, and nothing is falling down. But the demons are trying to come down and then they are trying to attack them. Then Rama takes one very, very powerful, sharp arrow, aims it at the heart of Maricha, and then releases it. The arrow hits him like as if a whole mountain, if it were to hit us at the speed of light, what will happen to us? The same thing happened to Maricha. Siddhashtama is almost on the foothills of the Himalayas, and from there, Maricha was carried in an instant to the Arabian Ocean, somewhere near Karnataka, in a place called Gokarna. It's a few hundred miles, a few hundred kilometers from here. After Murdeshwar, you'll find that Gokarna. So he fell into the ocean there. He was not killed because Maricha had some role to play. And therefore, his life was spared for the time being. But Subahu, no such chance. He was demolished with one single arrow. So in this way, Ramachandra was able to very, very beautifully kill. I'm using the word beautifully. So whatever he does, it's beautiful. He may be trying to control demons, still he will look beautiful. We won't look beautiful if we are fighting. Our face will be like that. He will always have a very wonderful smile. His bow, his arrow in his hand, always smiling, ever smiling. So he very beautifully and very gracefully, he killed all these demons, and the yajna was successful. And then when somebody does something, we feel like giving something to them, right? So in the same way, Vishwamitra called Rama and Lakshmana and told them, I'm very happy with you. I want to give you tens of thousands of weapons, which will come to your aid when in future, when you want to actually do whatever you want to achieve in your life. So he started giving so many wonderful different kinds of weapons he gave. And these weapons are something like Danda Chakra, Dharma Chakra, Kala Chakra, Indra Chakra, Vishnu Chakra, Vajrayuda, Shulayuda, Brahmastra, Aishika, Modaki, Shikari, Dharmana Pasha, Krauncha, Kankala, Mushala, like this. So many wonderful, wonderful things he gave. So all these are not physical weapons. They are all very, very subtle weapons. Physical weapons are known by the term Shastra. What? Shastra. And these Sukshma weapons or subtle weapons are called as Astra. Shastra, Astra. Astra means just you can take whatever you can find, a thread or a stick or a blade of grass, and you can think of that mantra, and you can invoke the mantra in this whatever small thing you have in your hand, and then just put it. Then it has the powerful, it can become even an atom bomb. But the beauty of this is that you can not only release, you can also control. You can say, you can recall, come on, come back, don't do anything. It will come back. So when each of these astra has got a controlling deity, Devata. So whenever Lord Ramachandra uttered one mantra, that particular deity would appear in front of him in person and said, Lord, what can we do for you? So like this, when he recited all the mantras, all of them were there right in front of him. All of them knew he was the Supreme Personality of God. And they are hankering for the Lord's service. And Rama said, not now, I will engage you in my service. just simply appear before me whenever I think of you. So having heard, having been dismissed by Lord Ramachandra in these words, with his words of kindness, they all circumambulated him. And then they all left. They vanished. They disappeared from this path. So in course of time, Ramachandra arrived along with Vishwamitra and Lakshmana and other rishis in the kingdom of Janaka, Mithila. There was a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, very great and powerful weapon of Lord Shiva, a big bow, Shiva Dhanus. Nobody could actually pick it up. But Janaka Maharaja had made a rule that whoever will be able to lift it and string it, only he will wed his wonderful daughter, Sita, Janaki. And why he made this? He made this because nobody else can lift it except Vishnu. Nobody else can string it except Vishnu. So therefore, he made this arrangement. Now Rama appeared and Rama was ordered by Vishwamitra, okay, now lift it. Now, how did Rama lift it? First of all, Rama was not proud. First of all, he offered his obeisances to Vishwamitra, took his blessings. He offered obeisances to Janaka Maharaja, who was as old as his father, 60,000 years old. And then he went and offered his obeisances to all the assembled sages. Then he approached the Shiva Dhanus. Then he offered obeisances to the Dhanus, the bow. And after offering obeisances to the bow and praying to it, he just lifted it as if a child would lift a toy. Ravana had come. All the powerful kings of his time had come. For what purpose? To marry Sita by lifting the bow. None of them could even lift it with all their power under their command. But here was Lord Ramachandra, because he is Vishnu himself, he just lifted it as if a toy, as if it were a toy. And not only that, just he bent it to string it. And what happened? It smashed. It was completely splintered. So in this way, he won the hand of Sita. But did he say, I will marry her? He didn't. He simply looked at Vishwamitra, indicating to him, sir, I am in no position to say I will marry this girl. It is my father who has to give me permission. So Vishwamitra understood this, and then he told that, conveyed that to Janaka, and Janaka immediately sent powerful horse riders, messengers, who took this message. And Dasharatha, in course of time, arrived with all these soldiers, retinue, and entourage, and along with the queens, and with wonderful riches. So there, Rama was married to Sita, Lakshmana was married to Urmila, Bharata and Shatrughna were also married to the two sons, to two daughters of his brother, that is Janaka's brother. So in this way, Rama and Sita were none other than the Lord and his internal potency came together. So see the beauty of Rama, see, observe how he is acting in every situation. He is never disrespecting anybody. He is always within the limits of dharma. He will do only what that is dharmic. He will never violate the principles of dharma. He will never speak untruth. But at the same time, he will never ever hurt anybody by his harsh speech. So at the same time, it's not that he was a coward. He was one of the greatest and most powerful of personalities. In fact, he was the greatest personality because he's God himself. So in this way, we have understood a portion of the glories of Rama. Such a wonderful personality, in course of time, was able to simply give up the entire kingdom. Just because his mother, Kaikeyi, told him, I want my son to become the king in your place. And I want you to go 14 years in exile to the deepest forest, Dandakaranya. He went. He did not. There was no change in his face. What will happen to you if somebody were to tell you that tomorrow you are going to become the dean of your institute? And next day morning, you're all dressed up in a three-piece suit and you're sitting in a Mercedes Benz, and then you arrive, and then somebody is telling, sir, you're not going to become a dean. In fact, you're going to lose your job. Even as a professor, you have to now quit this place. What will be your situation? How much angry you will be. But see how Rama was. Very peaceful. Completely peaceful. Blissful. Never he was agitated. There was no difference in his mind frame, in his thinking. So he went, and when he went, then he had to kill so many people, so many Rakshasas who were troubling. In fact, Lord Ramachandra had appeared only to do these things. So he cleared the Indian subcontinent of all the Rakshasas who were a source of trouble for all the sadhus. And then, because of this killing, his wife was kidnapped by Ravana, and he went and he struck friendship with the Vanaras, or man-like monkeys, man-like bears, and man-like gorillas, and helped by Hanuman, Sugriva, Angada, and other wonderful personalities of the Vanara race. He built a super wonderful, super excellent bridge, which is there even to this day. It is called Rama Setu, between India and Lanka. 100 yojanas long. And he walked, and then he defeated Ravana, and then he was able to come together with Sita. And after having proved to the world that Sita was a very determined, chaste woman of high virtue, he accepted her back, and then they flew back to Ayodhya right on the 14th year, last day, and he became the king of Ayodhya. He was fondly called as Raja Rama, and the kingdom he ruled came to be known as Rama Rajya, where whatever good things that were there during Dasharatha's time was made tenfold by Bharata during his reign as an agent of Rama when Ramachandra was in exile, and that thing was made 1,000,000,000 times more when Lord Rama personally accepted to be the king. So in this way, Lord Ramachandra showed how to lead a wonderful life, a life filled with peace, a life based on complete dharma or virtues, and then how we can actually obtain the real goal of our life, that of going back home, back to God. When Lord Ramachandra had to return, he gave an open invitation to all his citizens. Whoever wants to come with me, you can come with me. We will all go to Vaikuntha. And all of them went back to him. We didn't choose to go with him, and therefore we are now here At least it's our good fortune that we are discussing the Ramayana, and therefore, definitely at the end of this lifetime, we will definitely, after chanting the holy names of the Lord, the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, the Mahamantra, we will develop a desire to back home, back to Godhead. And we will pray to Lord Rama, we'll pray to Lord Krishna that please take us back to your home and we will reach our home. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Granthara Srimad Valmiki Ramayanam ki jai. If anybody has got any questions or comments, they can ask, they can clarify, they can share. Hare Krishna.
Okay, comment. Visible. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, you have to be louder.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful lecture on Sri Valmiki Ramayana. So, if anyone is having any question, they can kindly unmute and ask. We have another 2-3 minutes. So, otherwise, you can send the question to me. I may contact Prabhuji and get back to you if possible. So,
no problem at all.
Anyone have any question last time? No. So we don't have, it doesn't seem that we have any question now. So we'll end up today's session here, and we thank His Grace Shitalanga Prabhu from the core of our heart for giving such wonderful insights from Sri Valmiki Ramayana. And we request Prabhuji to kindly come more often with this medium and give us his association. So we thank him by one time loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
And also we would like to thank His Grace Haripad Prabhu and Her Grace Falini Mataji for joining today's session. So we all know Falini Mataji is such a wonderful devotee of Lord Sri Ram, and we are indeed blessed with her association today. So Mataji, if you want to speak few words, we'll be very grateful to you if you feel like.
Is there on left?
I think she's there. Maybe she might be busy. So we thank all the devotees for joining today evening. So with this, we will have Aarti of their Lordship. You can all attend online. You can take the darshan, and then we can send picture of Prashadam to all of you. So whatever possible. So with this, we'll begin our Aarti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Start? Yes. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Flowers avanti, flowers. ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತಾನೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद यसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ की जय। श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड की जय। गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। तुलसी मैया की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Hare. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya. मुक्ति विघ्न विनाशक लक्ष्मीपति नरसिंह भगवान की अक्षय मणिपुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
हरि हरि बोल।
Yes.
Hare Krishna. So I would like to thank all of you who have attended today's session this evening online. So hope we'll be able to conduct our regular session soon. Soon this restriction and COVID situation comes down. So we'd like to thank today by here. We would like to start by thanking His Grace Shitalanga Gaurang Prabhu for giving his wonderful association and sharing his wisdom from the epic Ramayana with us. And then I'd like to thank His Grace Haripad Pu and Palani Mataji for joining the event today. And also after it, I'd like to thank Kishan Prabhu for taking the initiative for the program. And I'd like to thank Balakrishna Prabhu for the wonderful altar service and devotees who cooked prasadam. So, and all of you who have attended today's session very keenly heard and make our program successful. So I request all of you to kindly log in again next Saturday for some of the wisdom. So with this, we'll wrap up our program for today. And we are sharing the pictures of Prashadam soon in the groups. So you can kindly take darshan and enjoy. So with this, we wrap up our program. Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. Shri Shri Nitai Sachipran Bhagwan ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hey, you did not say I have did.
Hare Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnave Sarvapunavatam Rajan Vishwashine Vajayate Sharira
महाप्रसादम की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
So logging off today with this prasadam.
Take these two nicely. Closely.